So, they came out ready to play more than Alabama did. And with any game, with any sports contest or anything like that, whoever comes to play and is better prepared is the one who's going to win that game. So they put the beat down on them, man. It was like, let me show you something. I got something for you.
And coming back to politics, I'm a big fan of politics, and I must give, and I'm trying to get her on the show, but I got to give major kudos for Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, because she does, she's not just out there in a newly elected member of Congress and everything, but she's actually calling out votes. So she recently called out CBS News for a lack of diversity among the network's newly announced reporters covering the 2020 presidential campaign, calling it unacceptable that the network had not tapped any black correspondents. This White House administration has made having a functional understanding of race in America one of the most important core competencies for political journalists to have, yet CBS News hasn't assigned a single black journalist to cover the 2020 election, Ocasio-Cortez said, unacceptable in 2019. Try again. In a statement, a CBS News rep said this was just the first wave of what will be many news reporters assigned to the campaign. This group is the initial wave of what will be an outstanding and diverse group of journalists assigned to cover the 2020 election for CBS News, the statement said. On Friday, CBS News announced the new slate of reporters and producers who would cover the 2020 campaign. Though lacking in African-American representation, the 8 reporters and 4 producers selected by CBS include both Asian American and Latino American staffers. In fact, the network trumpeted the new hire as proof of CBS's commitment to being out front in campaign reporting for the upcoming cycle. But says the race is expected to be a roller coaster with no clear Democratic frontrunner and the usual theatrics of President Trump on the Republican side. So I was glad to see that she was willing to come out there and just basically say, look, I'm not going to have this. Y'all need to be fair in what y'all are doing.
You need to be fair. You need to be equitable. And with all of these reporters now that are, on news stations nationwide, I guess they said, well, you know what? It's starting to look like a takeover of black and brown, so let's just put our folks on the campaign trail, and you're still trying to control the one-sided narrative, you know what I mean?
And I see that y'all had another incident in the news today with people and guns. It says 2 women were rescued from a hostage situation Monday morning at a UPS facility in New Jersey, a prosecutor said. Gloucestershire County Prosecutor Charles Forer told the reporters that the women appeared to be unharmed. The armed man who took the women hostage was shot after emerging from the facility in Logan Township, about 20 miles south of Philadelphia, officials said. The suspect, later identified as William Owens, 39, of Sickerville, New Jersey, was pronounced dead at the scene, the New Jersey Attorney General's office said Monday afternoon. UPS said in a statement all of its employees at the supply chain processing facility had been accounted for and were being attended to by local officials. The man apparently had a prior relationship with one of the women taken hostage, Fiore said. Both of the women worked for UPS. No law enforcement officers were injured during the incident. So it says that both the FBI and the Federal Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives responded to the scene, CBS News Chief Justice and Homeland Security correspondent Jeff Piggs reported. So glad to see that folks were definitely there and were acting in a responsible way, and it looks like we're able to curtail some of what happened, but definitely another incident of folks trying to take matters into their own hands and things of that nature. So I'm sure that a lot of folks that are about gun control will be jumping on this incident.
And you know what? I mean, you can make an argument for that, but you really can't, because you can go to any hood USA and buy whatever you want right now, and a gun law is not going to restrict the illegal purchases of weapons. They even had the thing, let's just take it to Chicago, where the guys that are in the street said that the government is dumping guns into the hood so that, and I believe it, they brought the drugs over and they want a war on drugs, so now you want a war on guns, but how are these dudes getting the guns? They're not going making purchases at no damn gun shop. They're not even finding enough people to make straw purchases and buy them in bulk, ship them out and ship them around. So now you got assault weapons, you got grenade launchers, and all of that stuff that explain how this stuff gets in the hood. The same way the heroin, the cocaine, the marijuana, everything else got there, it was brought there. So now you say, oh, gun control. That sounds nice. But this dude right here, when they had it on the news, because it's not that far from me where I live, you know, and they had the people on the news, the first thing they said, he was going through some things. Okay, you know what? This may sound insensitive, but if you're going through something, just kill yourself. Don't go to kill nobody else. Don't go to take anybody else hostage and put them in the middle of your bullshit. If you have that problem, you feel the only way out is the exit stage left, go by yourself. So the two ladies were unharmed. That's a good thing.
Yes.
The gunman caught an L, as he rightfully should have. Nobody really cares, and from from the other side, when you go to an incident, you're there to stop the threat. You're not there to find out if somebody was going through something. You're not there to find out if somebody had a bad childhood. You're not there to find out if somebody may have been diagnosed with mental illness. You know what? Right now, you're the threat. And until you stop being a threat, then whatever we have to do to contain such threat, that's what we're going to do. You may not like it, but hey, you know what? You could have taken another way. You could have just gone ahead and done yourself in and got rid of your problem by yourself. And nobody would have been any the wiser, nor would anybody have, been in the hostage or have to deal with your crap. Just take yourself out, dog. Do everybody a favor. Only people going to miss you is the people that care about you.
Yep, and they will probably definitely miss them. And a lot of times, even when they miss them, they did not understand what the person was going through, because a lot of times that's the thing that we always hear is that folks are like, I didn't know that he was going to do this or he was going to do that, because a lot of times folks don't actually see the warning signs that are around them. Even though the warning signs can be plain as day, we sometimes just have a habit of ignoring those warning signs or not wanting to speak on those warning signs, even though they are plainly there. So a lot of times folks have to pay attention to whatever the warning sign is.
Pay attention if there are any warning signs. Sometimes we don't talk either. But we let hold everything in, and then it becomes too much, and you end up making a life-altering decision, and then people are all saying, well, he was a nice guy. He was nice to you. Right. Hell, we don't know if he went home, and for all that we know, Ike Turner might have been a real nice dude to everybody except Tina.
Right.
You know what I mean? So what one presents to one person doesn't mean they present that to the world.
That is very true. We never know what is going on in people's minds and things of that nature. I mean, we do have to find ways to address some of the things that are going on with mental illness and things of that nature, because I sometimes think that we don't pay attention and do enough research on those kind of things. That's why some of our homeless people are still in the situations they're in. But at the same time, I agree that we don't always know what's going on people's minds, and we have to find ways to actually address some of these issues that are going on, whether that's better mental care or whether that's also, because you're right, we don't always know. Sometimes somebody just may decide to amp off just based on a simple thing.
Yep, and then they may want to try to explain later, but later may not come.
That's true. That later may not be, it may not happen at all. So, that's why we definitely have to. Yeah.
It's crazy. Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to Straight Talk with Dean and Mark. You can call and join the conversation. We're here at 646-668-8393. And I know I said that kind of slow, so let me try it again. Say
it slow again.
Say it slow? All right.
Say it slow
again.
Calling
number area code 646-668-8393. 8393.
And there's somebody calling in.
Right there, right on time. Let's see who we got coming in. Welcome to Straight Talk with Dean and Mark. You are on the line. Who do we have the pleasure of speaking with this evening?
Hi, this is Felicia Lee-Sexton from Houston. How are you?
How are you doing, Felicia? We are glad to have you on. Dean, the guy that I'm doing the show with, is the one that recommended you because he was sitting there reading about your story, and he was like, we need to have this woman on. And I am the one that does a lot of the bookings and things of that nature, so I've looked at your bio as well, and I was like, you're right. She's got a very powerful story, and we need to see what this story is all about because I was also impressed with what you were doing.
Thanks for having me.
No problem.
Thank you for accepting.
We are definitely glad to have you on the show. Like I said, I was just amazed. Like I said, we've had another lady on sometime back that had gone through a similar story of having been through some different abuse and things of that nature, but then turning her life around and everything. So tell us a little bit about your story. Like I said, I did read it, and like I said, I know you have a gym because you're actually one of those people that actually talks about the fact that, you know, a lot of times when we think of addiction, we think of what I call the mainstay addictions, that being drugs, that being alcohol, and that being these things. But you actually, when you talk to your people in your gym, you basically get them to understand that there are all kinds of addictions out there, and that more than likely, we all have an addiction of some sort or another. Is the impression that I got from you, whether that's an addiction to porn, whether that's an addiction to sweets, whether that's an addiction to coffee, whether that's an addiction to whatever. It seems that your basic message is that as human beings, we are all facing an addiction of one sort or another.
You're absolutely right. First of all, thank you for having me. And I am a recovering addict. I've been clean and sober for 26 years. And along with being an addict, I was I sold dope. I transported dope. And, you know, most people think about addicts as being on the corner and all this other stuff. Well, my world was a little different. I was kept, as they say, by the gentleman that was head of the union for General Motors at the time. And so, you know, I started using because I was nosy. You know, I wasn't abused. I wasn't any of those things. I just needed to be in that lifestyle, and that was my deal. But when we fast forward that, you're right. I do own an all-women's gym. And I tell you when you walk in the door, first of all, why are you here? Why are you in my gym? Because it's an inside job that we have to work on to get to the outside expression. We're all addicted to something. You have people that you know that are addicted to their children. You have people that you know that are addicted to him, them, or they. You got people that are addicted to, like you said, coffee, sweets, gambling, shopping. But addiction is also in the form of addicted to behavior. And so in order to get to the root of all those things, because your weight is just a by-symptom of what's really going on. We all have had something that is holding us in bondage so bad that we can't figure out what to do. Let's talk about divorce. We get addicted to the behavior of being angry because he left or she left. And so then what you do, you go home and you eat. Well, when I do that or if I relapse tomorrow, I'm not hurting anybody but myself. So the disease of addiction is so cunning and baffling that if you don't get a hold on it, it's going to have you locked and loaded. So in my book, From Recovery to Discovery, I talk about the grimy world of addiction. I talk about some of the things that I did, but I also talk about the message of hope. Because you talk about addicts. Addicts are real smart people. If you just really look at most people that are addicted are real smart. I started a trucking company when got lines of credit and talked to a couple of those good old boys, and they told me what to do. And when I made all the money I wanted to make and my brother quit coming to work, I sold everything. So don't tell me what you can't do. When you walk in my gym, when you start talking about what you can't do, I tell you my story. I'm a step-down dope fiend, through and through. I just, if God's grace and mercy, don't use today and haven't used. But that doesn't mean that you won't say something to me and it's going to throw me off my feet if I don't stay connected to God and to the 12 steps of Narcotics Anonymous. So that's my story.
And it's a very powerful story. There's no doubt about that. And another part of your story, which was also really interesting to me, was I've actually had relatives that have had various diseases. I had an aunt that passed of MS and everything. So I also saw that you had your mother that was fighting lupus, and that was also part of your story, was trying to deal with what that was all about as you were trying to take care of her as she was fighting this deadly disease and everything. So I imagine that this also, in addition to the addiction, played a part in your story of what you're trying to do in helping others as well.
Well, let me tell you, the reality of all that is that while my mom was fighting lupus, who they said had sarcoidosis most of her life, I was in the height of my addiction. So, I can't even take credit for being